Scorsese was reinstated to the Hollywood elite, and his wave of success washed him up at Paul Newman's door.
This used to be a nice, average, bad neighborhood. Now look at it.
After 20 years, the actor was going to film a sequel to The Hustler.
I'm the best you ever seen, Fats. I'm the best there is. Now, even if you beat me, I'm still the best.
Newman believed Raging Bull to be the best sports drama in history and suggested they do a similar screen adaptation of the book The Color of Money. Paul had neither studio, budget, nor script, but convinced the director to take the film.
There's something at the end of this. I wouldn't even tell you to do it unless the payoff was phenomenal.
According to him, filming a movie like this would be showing Hollywood his ability to work on mainstream projects, something Martin had yet to do in his 25-year career. They chose the author Richard Price for the script, a writer without film industry experience. Price recalls that the duo sucked all of the life out of him. First, he wrote and sent his drafts to Scorsese, who had added his comments and would send the pages back. Richard would change it and take the drafts to Newman, who would then give his comments, and Price would do it all over again. After 36 meetings, the text was finally accepted.
Very good stuff.
The project was picked up by 20th Century Fox, but the bosses didn't like the script or the young Tom Cruise whom Paul had brought to the movie.
You are going to be one of the greats, kiddo. One of the greats. I got a good feeling about this. Yeah?
That's why no one was against it when Touchstone Pictures offered to buy the project out. The new investors had some conditions for Paul and Martin. They would get a budget of $14.5 million and 50 days to film. Penalties would be paid by Scorsese and Newman, and they would return a third of their salaries if the film failed at the box office.
You find a newcomer with a better deal than that, you come to me, we talk.
The Color of Money became the only film made by Scorsese which finished filming a day before the deadline, which saved them $1.5 million.
It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful.
As for the filming process itself, Tom's effort is worth mentioning. For 3 months, he practiced playing pool, and besides the trick with the jump, did all of his own shots.
Everybody's doing it.
Martin was sure that the actor could have even done the trick, but didn't want to waste valuable time training him.
I think you're wrong, man. You know?
It's also worth mentioning all the cameos, from billiard stars to a young Forrest Whitaker to Iggy Pop. And of course, the scene with the cue.
Doom.
Which led John Carmack to name his game Doom. The way Vincent beat his competitors seemed to John the perfect illustration of how his shooter was going to fare in the games industry. The picture also introduced Scorsese to his next wife. The producer, Barbara DeFina, lived with the director for 6 years and worked on his films even after their divorce. On the 17th of October, 1986, the film premiered. It would go on to make over $50 million at the box office.
You smell what I smell?
Smoke?
Money.
Increase the profits of every billiards club in America, and bring Paul Newman the only Oscar of his career.
Pool excellence is not about excellent pool. It's about becoming something.
In addition, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio and Richard Price would also get nominated. Martin and Richard would continue to collaborate for their next project, The Short Bad, a screen adaptation of the song of the same name by Michael Jackson. The King of Pop had planned to film the clip in Brooklyn, which is why he invited the King of New York film. Price wrote the script based on real events. The murder of a black student who was supposedly trying to rob an undercover policeman.
Black kid, 17, from Harlem, poor, with another black youth, tries to rob a white man, who turns out to be a plainclothes cop.
The main role was played by Michael Jackson himself, and Wesley Snipes debuted. It was also the last project done together with Michael Chapman. The visual aspect was copied from West Side Story, and was no less sweeping. And the final cost of production was just over $2 million. Only 14 clips in history have been more expensive.
You gotta be kidding me.
The success of The Color of Money and the music video Bad gave Martin his confidence back, and he decided to resurrect The Last Temptation of Christ. The script had been gathering dust for 6 years, until Universal Studios finally breathed some life into it. In comparison to the conditions that Paramount had offered, the proposal seemed awful. The budget was half the amount, and filming was to be moved from Israel to the less expensive Morocco.
John the Baptist sequence. And the only river left in Morocco, I think.
In return, the director agreed to make a commercial film for them in a few years. Scorsese was ready to agree to any condition as long as he could make his dream come true. The original candidates for the main role were Aidan Quinn, Sting, Ray Davis, who all rejected the project and were replaced with Willem Dafoe, David Bowie, and Harvey Keitel.
Every day you have a different plan. First it's love, then it's the axe, and now you have to die.
Mary Magdalene was to be played by either Madonna or Kim Basinger, but the singer did not make it past the audition, and the actress didn't want to depict a femme fatale. After that, he invited Barbara Hershey, with whom he had filmed a crucifixion scene 15 years ago. While filming, the director established a dictatorship. He forbade curse words and made the actors stop smoking. This left the paparazzi without any pictures with biblical characters holding cigarettes. For the main smoker, Willem Dafoe, this was the first and easiest obstacle. Filming had to continue according to schedule, and the actor had to film the scene with the cobra while suffering from a terrible flu.
You're here to trick me.
Trick you.
Later, Dafoe overdid it with the eye drops, which he was using to widen his pupils to give him an unusual countenance. Because of the overdose, the actor lost his sight for 3 days. Of course, there were some mystical moments. The finale stops abruptly because of some ruined film. Scorsese maintains that he found the defect in the most important part of the movie, when he was already editing and couldn't do anything about it. Coincidence or divine providence? We may never know. But the effect worked. Of course, the main events connected to the Temptation of Christ occurred after it finished filming.
We cannot permit this movie to be shown in the United States or anywhere in the world.
Religious groups tried everything from boycotts to threats. Many churchgoers were offended by the explicit scenes during Jesus' visions and the liberal interpretation of the Bible. Whole cinema chains refused to show the movie. In one of the theaters in France, the showing was disturbed by arson, which destroyed the building. Things were not much better in the States. Thousands of protesters marched against the film, and the founder of Campus Crusade, Bill Bride, offered Universal Studios $10 million to hand over every copy of the film so that he could burn them.
And when I saw the 5-minute documentary that they showed, or compilation of all these people screaming about the film, and I just sat there, realized that this picture is gone. Finished.
After the premiere, the real bullying began. Martin had to be accompanied by bodyguards at every event connected to the film. He even came to the Oscars with a bodyguard. Scorsese's film was nominated in only one category: Best Director. It's worth mentioning that it was extremely rare for a film to be nominated in this category and not be nominated for anything else. The humble profit at the box office was not a surprise.
Never the case. I never expected to make any money anyway, and that's why I spent so little on it.
Not long before the picture's release, Scorsese, together with Woody Allen and Steven Spielberg, decided to resurrect a popular 50s cinema genre: the anthology. Touchstone Pictures gave each director $5 million and guaranteed them creative freedom in return for 3 shorts, which would be united by one theme, which, in the case of New York Stories, was the city itself. A few months before the project began, Spielberg left the project because he needed more time to edit Indiana Jones. The vacant spot was taken by Francis Ford Coppola, who made a reel based on the script written by his 16-year-old daughter.
Hector is our family butler and my guardian angel. He takes care of me when my parents are traveling, which is most of the time.
Martin's segment was a novella about an artist whose mistress assistant has an affair with a comedian. One of the unique aspects of the picture was its acting ensemble. Besides Nick Nolte and Rosanna Arquette, who played the leads, the short also starred Peter Gabriel.
Hi, Peter.
The singer Debbie Harry, and of course, Steve Buscemi, who wrote his own monologue for the stand-up portion.
Then the cops come by and they say, well, how come you killed this guy? I said, well, he stepped on my foot. They're gonna think I overreacted.
Unfortunately, the forgotten anthology genre failed at the box office.
And I don't like it.
Hey, do you like our work? Let us know with your like and comment. Push that subscribe button and share with your friends. If you want to support the project financially, become our sponsor on Patreon or YouTube sponsorship. Thank you.